Greenpeace film, Black Ice. There's going to be a special showing tonight on Free Speech TV for Pledge Week, so be sure and check that out. That freespeech.org if you don't have Free Speech TV on Dish or Direct or through your local cable system. But if you do, there it is. So, John, tell me about Black Ice.
Yeah, Black Ice documents the happenings of about a year ago. Greenpeace has been working for many years now to confront Arctic oil drilling. The Arctic is melting because of climate change, and oil companies responsible for climate change, rather than heed that as a warning, are seeing it as an opportunity to go and extract more hydrocarbons and put our Arctic at risk of oil spills. So about a year ago, our ship, the Arctic Sunrise, went to confront a Russian oil platform operated by Gazprom. And as a part of that action, we had climbers who attempted to scale the oil rig. And from then on, the Russian Coast Guard responded in an incredibly dangerous and aggressive way. Warning shots fired into the water direct from pistols that had previously been pointed right at the activists. They rappelled from helicopters onto the ship. They arrested the entire crew, and they put them in jail for 2 months on charges of piracy and hooliganism. They were eventually granted amnesty and released, thankfully. But we're looking back a year now, and the film Black Ice looks at their story, but it also looks at the unfolding drama in the Arctic regions of the planet, and the region that's incredibly vulnerable, fragile, is hurting the most from climate change, and is being exploited by oil companies.
Yeah, and now that the Arctic ice is vanishing, oil companies from several of the countries that surround the Arctic are saying, oh boy, we can do this.
Right.
Right. So what's the National Research Council, the arm of the National Academy of Sciences, has put out a report on this. What does that have to say?
Sure, yeah. Last April, the National Research Council of the Academies put out a report, actually partially co-sponsored by the American Petroleum Institute. I'm sure an organization you've talked about a lot on this program, that represents oil companies and lobbies in Washington for the weakest possible regulations on the oil industry. They actually are one of the co-sponsors of this report, and this report said, we don't know what to do about an oil spill in the Arctic. We don't have the infrastructure to respond to an oil spill, and we also just don't have the science to say that we could in any way clean it up. And of course, that's intuitive to the rest of us. We saw what happened in 2010 with the BP Deepwater disaster in the Gulf of Mexico. We've seen that oil still is in Prince William Sound from the Exxon Valdez, and we've seen the oil spills all across the planet. And of course, they can't be cleaned up. And in Arctic conditions, it's even worse. You have incredibly frigid water. You have ice moving in. It's iced over for most of the year. So imagine if at the end of the drilling season there was a big blowout on a rig up there. We wouldn't be able to clean it up. It would just stay up in the Arctic. And that's basically what this report said. And yet companies like Shell are still vying for access to the hydrocarbon reserves underneath the Arctic Ocean.